Everyone. My name is Sneha Ravner, and today I'm going to talk about the gender landscape of Indian workplaces. So, I have taken India because that's what I chose for my geography. So, this course is about exploring the cultural landscape, and our professor is Dr. Love and Brito. Moving forward, now talking about gender workplaces, like what is gender space? A place or environment created by society to accommodate activities and specific jobs, right? So, exploring gendered workplaces, cognitive environments where roles, behaviors, and opportunities are segregated by policy. These places create or challenge cultural standards through ward division, price differences, and play of innovation. So, like any kind of job, like from nursing to like engineering, everything comes to this place. Moving forward now in the context of India, so workplaces frequently reflect customer orientation standard. For example, ladies are overwhelmingly found in areas like schooling, medical care, and managerial job, while men do fields like design, innovation, assembly, and engineering. For example, in the Indian IT area, while women are progressively entering the workforce, they are frequently underrepresented in higher administration and leadership jobs. This builds up the thought of workplaces as gender spaces where professional success opportunity vary by the genders. So, I've seen like I have been to India, so I have seen places like, for example, if you see a nurse, so in India they think that the role of nurse is only done by female. There are no male nurses at all. And for example, the mostly talked one, I think, like if a woman is in a higher position, they think that oh she did something to gain that position, but if a male does that, oh you worked hard for that. So there is like a weak cultural difference in the thought mind of the Indian people. Moving forward, talking about historical context of gender roles in Indian workplaces. So, customer orientation jobs. Indian workplaces are dominated by men, while women are mostly engaged in domestic work, providing care services such as teaching and nursing, as I told before. We're talking about the evolution after the Indian independence, which was in 1947. After that, India gained the freedom. To talking about post-freedom, women started teaching medicine and politics. So this was the entering stage of the women in the business sector. In the 1970s to 1980s, women entered the workforce often in secretarial position and in the media sector like movies and all. And from 1990s to present, financial progress has led many women to pursue careers in information technology, finance, business through like managerial and value-added roles. Now, talking about the key achievements, more recently, the push for diversity in the format has been met with the hope of increasing support for the ladies. Like there are many that we have the achievements as well. It's not like okay, India has not moved forward. There are certain achievements. There are women in higher level jobs that no one could have imagined like 10 to 20 years ago. Now, talking about ways in which workplaces are gender. So, work segmentation. How can certain position be called men's job or women's job? Like taking care of household chores are still thought as like women's job. Oh, it's a woman thing to do. Like if both are working professional, men and women both are working for professional, their husband and wife. If they're both working professional, if the woman comes late at night from work, if the man comes late at night, it's the woman's duty to take care of the family. Now, there is orientation pay gap as well still in India. Pay wage differences between people reflect gender bias in the workplace, even though both are doing the same job. So, as you can see here is the picture of an astronaut. She is Kalpana Chawla, the first female astronaut of India. Leadership roles, the representation of women in leadership positions and areas that affect them. As I told before, if the man is in a higher position, they think that he got that role because of his working hard nature and he did really hard to work that and gain that position. But if a woman gains the same position, they think that, oh, how did she gain that role? Maybe she did something. Maybe she did something. They started questioning her behavior, like, oh, she slept with someone, or oh, she did someone, she, her husband did something for her. They don't take an account for that. Now, moving forward, like cultural norms and practices. Let's talk about the dress codes. So, dress codes as gender reflect cultural beliefs. Like in India, like even in airlines, I have seen. that the women, the here is wearing a sari, a traditional Indian garment, for their workplace. But in for men, they wore like everything like a casual way, and they still pointed women that okay, they have to wear a sari or kurta, which is Indian traditional clothing. But for men, they don't do that. Even the men have their own traditional clothing called dhoti, but they don't wear that. But they expect women to wear that because they think, oh, men are not allowed to do this, and it's still prevalent there. As you can see in the picture as well, this is the most used dress code for offices. She has to be covered, her neck has to be covered, her clevers has to be covered. She can't show that there are restriction. If she doesn't do the surgery, oh, she's showing off her body to gain something. Okay, so talking about workplace approaches, how to deal with maternity leave strategies, flexible working hours, and child welfare agencies. If a woman is pregnant, she takes a maternity leave. She's not only pressured by the community, she is also pressured at home because they think that oh now she is pregnant. After taking she has a child, she has to take leave for 4 5 years. Even in the family think that okay she has to raise the children, so she has to take that leave. They don't think that okay her husband needs her as well because they both have pets. But no, the woman only need to take the break and take 4 5 years, and after that they expect okay no, why did you need to go, why are you leaving a child behind. Now talking about organizational dynamics, how cooperation and work conditions vary in the workplace based on conflicting norms like leadership style, interpersonal relationships. Sorry, impact on the community, social consequences. Let's talk about that. In workplaces based on gender occupation, create cultural norms and create cultural views about what work is appropriate for an individual. This whole gender placement affects how business view work at home. Economic consequences. Inequality in the workplace undermine women's empowerment and create significant economic risk. Like they talk about women empowerment should get this, but they are not getting even the basic ones. So, in addition to the low acceptance of women in leadership positions hinders the organization's strength and development. As I said before, in India, when women are entering the business sector, they expect them to take the like low level jobs. If they are in the high level jobs, it's like very hard to reach that level. It's very hard. Talking about geographical and cultural context, city versus rural. So more urban workplaces are and more women oriented, but still a privileged space. Rural areas tend to have more traditional jobs and less will of women. Professional differences. Social standards influence the work. For example, South India has more labor investment for women than in North India. Government exams. Living conditions in India differ more places in the cities than in the rural areas. So India there is really high level exam which is called the NEET, and like for that position out of 2 lakh students, uh, like 0.2 million people, only 2,000 people are selected. And out of the 2,000 people as well, like only like a hundred, few hundreds are women. So it's really hard for them. Now talking the role of education and training, which I believe is a good recommendation for them. So access to education. The expansion of access to like educational courses for women has developed more professional opportunity and probably equal placement in various fields. So not only sewing and threading, is considered role for women. There are other roles as well which can be, if we can train them, they obviously can do it well. So capacity building program represents STEM and leadership skills support career success in the fields of innovation, influence, and complexity. Even though learning prescription and corrective actions promote consistency, complexity remains, for example, norms and practices. So at the end, even though they have moved forward, they have taken aback by norms and practices in the community that is still present there in India. Let's now talk about intersectionality. So intersecting of recognition, class, economic status affects like educational purposes and skills for women. Still in the rural areas of India, like after like the 10th standard, like basic middle school, they believe that okay, that women should not study anymore because what will they do? They are just have to get married and go. Then what is the use of education for them? And even in city areas, I have heard like people in family say that even if a girl has moved forward, like even if she's a lawyer, like she's even a very high position lawyer, but still her family expect her that oh she's not well settled because she's not married yet. So in India, it is believed that you are not well settled or not well to do until you are married and have kids. So it's their perception of mind this still is present. Now talking about class. Economic status affects education opportunities and skills for women. In caste, women are less likely to discriminate against in terms of access to power and career development. Now, not only there is talking about power and career development, there is still a caste like they still judge you on the basis of caste. Like if you are a Chaudhary, like it's a caste in India, they think that OLX is a poor level caste. It's still prevalent in India. They're talking about disability. Women with disabilities face barriers and limited assistance, so they have like barriers over barriers. Even if you overcome one, there are still. So it's really hard to like come out of that zone and do it. So impact on opportunities, access issues, immigrants limit access to resources and professional success. Need for inclusivity. And this arrangements, policies to address these layered issues are equally available moving forward. So I would like to talk about the like a recent case in India, like it was a few days ago I heard in the news. So well trained a doctor in India was raped in the same hospital. She worked by 10 people. She, as a doctor, was raped in the hospital, and later on, her father got the call that her daughter committed suicide. So even if like they come to overcome the barrier and become a like high level worker, like even a doctor, but still the work safety is not guaranteed there. Even the in the matter of safety, it's very neglected in the context of women working in India. So it's very hard there. Now, to conclude my overall summary, so in India, gender workplaces in India reflect social and talent norms that affect women's career opportunities and advancement. It's not only like societal pressure, it's from home pressure, societal pressure, work pressure, so they have to live around with that and still have to like do with their own thing. Key education components. Training and preparation programs are important for correspondent but are motivated to stay because of meeting goals such as station, class, and disability. So even though like they are giving opportunities to the people to like okay you can study this, there still comes up class. Like if I talk about a Rajasthan state in India, there are still believe even if the women are getting education, same woman cannot give education because she's from lower caste. So if there is a disadvantage there as well. So they have to revolve around that, like which state, what kind of programs should there because every kind of program doesn't suit every state. Now talking about the future outlook, solving these problems require an effort to create approaches, corporate culture, cultural perspective to better create inclusive work environments. So these are the references that I use, and thank you so much.